What is up with you guys? My name is Stone. A lot of you guys probably know me as Stone underscore two times on Twitter. Today we're going to be going over the Ravens' final 53-man roster. If you guys want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that like button, comment down some of your thoughts, hit that subscribe so you guys get the latest content. Without much more being said, we're going to get right into it. Now, starting off the video, of course, Lamar Jackson, quarterback one. That's simple. QB2, I have Josh Johnson. Now, a lot of people saw Devin Leary play. There's some good quarterbacks out there like Ryan Tannehill who could easily come in and be quarterback two for the Ravens. But I think they're going to stick with Josh Johnson. Now, some people that have Devin Leary making that third QB spot, but I do not think that they're going to put Devin Leary on the active roster this year. I think he's going to be a practice squad stash. They're going to develop him. He just did not look ready in that last preseason game. And although he does have potential, I just can't see him making the roster this year. Now, starting off with the running backs. Of course, Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, both of them, great running backs. Derrick Henry is going to get most of the workload this year. Now, with the third running back spot, I could see a few different candidates getting this. Before Owen Wright got hurt, I would 100% say Owen Wright got this. Now, there's a lot of good free agent running backs, especially with some getting cut away from the rosters. But I think the Ravens are going to stick with Rasheen Ali. I think they're going to keep him. They spent draft capital on him. We know how the Ravens are with draft capital. I think they're going to throw him on the roster. He is in concussion protocol. I don't know if he'll be ready for week one, but I would assume that he will be somewhat ready for week one. Even if he is, I can only expect special team touches from him. I don't see him getting any playing time. But nevertheless, I think he will make this roster. Moving on to the wide receivers. Now, this is going to surprise a lot of people. This is where it starts getting fun. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Tylan Wallace as wide receiver 3, Nelson Aguilar, Tez Walker, and Dayton Wade. I do think Dayton Wade is going to find a spot on this roster. He just performed too well in preseason. A lot of people don't see him making this roster, but me personally, I think the Ravens realize that he's an highlight machine. He's always in the right places. He's a really good wide receiver. He can play in or out. I think he prefers in the slot, but I do see him making this roster, and I think he's going to make a decent impact on his first year. Moving on to the tight ends, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kolar, Pat Ricard. This is a pretty easy group. No surprises here. Mark Andrews, he's going to be getting a lot of touches, but Isaiah Likely, I do expect him to get a lot more touches than he did last year, especially in the first half of the season. They just could not balance having both Mark and Isaiah on the field at once. I think this year Todd Monken figures it out. Now, with the offensive line, a lot of people have the Ravens going after just 9 offensive linemen. In the past, they have kept 9 offensive linemen, but this year I think they will keep 10. Those 10 being Ronnie Stanley, Pat McCary, Roger Rosengarten, Tyler Linderbaum, Ben Cleveland, Daniel Falele, Saleh, Josh Jones, Andrew Voorhees, and Corey Bullock. I think that Corey Bullock, he played a great preseason. He was high rated on PFF's charts. Going over the film, he looked really good. He didn't look like he had any very, very poor reps. Now, I'm not going to say he went out there and was the best, but for an undrafted free agent, I really see him making a spot on this team. I think the coaching staff likes him a lot. I think that he'll be able to come in and be a good backup. And a big part of this is Nick Samac, the Ravens' 7th-round pick. He got injured. So I think that opens up a spot for him. Now, John Harbaugh did come out and say that Nick, he just had I believe it was an ankle sprain. So we're going to see how he does with it. We're going to see how it plays out, how long he's out. He might be an IR candidate. But I think Corey's going to make the lineup. I think he played pretty good in the preseason. I think the coaches like him. Moving on to defensive line, we have Justin Madubuike, Travis Jones, Broderick Washington, Michael Pierce, and Brett Urban. There's no surprises here. The Ravens have a decent defensive line. I'm not going to say it's over the top or anything. They lost Davion Clowney last year, but I think Justin Madubuike is going to have a really killer season this year. Travis Jones is going to be a monster. Broderick Washington, I think he's coming into his own slowly but surely, but he's been a really good player for us. Michael Pierce up front, Brett Urban. Now, outside linebacker, we got Adafe Owe, David Ajabo, Kyle Van Noy, Tavius Robinson, Malik Harrison, and Adisa Isaac. Now, a lot of people had Adisa Isaac as being an IR candidate. I don't think they're going to put him on IR. I think he'll be ready very soon, and I think the Ravens are going to use him in a lot of different ways. We saw him in the one preseason game that he played in. He played pretty good. He was everywhere on the field. He was very physical, fast. I think he's ready. Now, whether that hamstring problem is going to keep him out for a decent amount of time, we don't know. Hamstrings, they can be iffy. You can go each way with the hamstring problem. You never know what it's going to be. It could be short term, long term. I think Adisa Isaac's going to be ready to go very soon, and I think he's going to make an impact. Moving on to middle linebackers, still no surprises here. Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson, Josh Ross, and Chris Board. I do think that the Ravens keep 4 middle linebackers. Man, this preseason, Trenton Simpson was just a monster. Like, a lot of people were wondering what he's going to look like filling Patrick Queen's role, and I think a lot of people have that comparison in their mind, like who's going to be better, stuff like that. But overall, Trenton Simpson, man, he's been playing really good. He's been playing amazing recently. We saw him get the interception in the last game. He played all 3 preseason games, and I don't think he really sat out much of either one. So he was in there the whole time, playing his heart out. I think he's going to have a really good season for the Ravens this year. I cannot wait to see him play. Moving on to corner, we got Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Brandon Steven, Jalen Armour Davis, TJ Tampa, and Ardarius Washington. Now, a lot of people are going to see this, and the first thing that they're going to say is Pepe Williams. Where is he at? I don't think he's making the team. And it's nothing against Pepe. He's actually one of my favorite personalities on the team. But there was something going on with him in preseason. I don't know if it was a mental game or what, but I don't know. I feel like a change of scenery would fit him well. I feel like he's had his time with the Ravens. He's played pretty good in the times that he's been able to play. He's been plagued by injuries. Same with him and Jalen Armour Davis. But I think this year he's the odd man out. The Ravens drafted Nate Wiggins, which made the DB group just stacked to begin with. So it's nothing against him, but I don't see him making the roster this year. I don't see it. Moving on to safety, Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, Eddie Jackson, Bo Braid, and Sanusi Kane. Now, anybody who was watching those preseason games know who Bo Braid is. That man was everywhere. He's a hard hitter, just like Sanusi Kane. Sanusi Kane, hold up. First off, that man Sanusi Kane really be hitting for real. Like, he really hits. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, he almost knocked himself out. I think it was against the Eagles. Like, that man really hits. But Bo Braid, I can see him having a huge impact on this team. We know the Ravens, they love their 3 safety sets, but I could see him coming in as that 4th safety and really making plays. He was everywhere on the field. He's really smart. He fills gaps. He's a very good tackler. I was watching Cole Jackson at Road Graders, and he said one thing about him that actually stood out to me a lot throughout the games when I went back and looked. Some of his pursuit angles aren't the best, but still, I think it's an easy fix for him once he gets acclimated with NFL speed. In college, you might be able to get away with some of those angles, but in the NFL, it's just a different game. The speed's different. So I think he's going to get acclimated to that very, very quick. And of course, special teams, the GOAT, Justin Tucker, Jordan Stout, hell of a leg. And then Nick Morris, the long snapper. This year's roster, I don't think it quite matches up to last year's. It sucks to say, but that was one of the best Ravens rosters I personally had ever watched. And I've been a fan since about 2010. So I don't know if it's going to ever be possible to top that roster. I mean, getting OBJ and Jadeveon Clowney, it didn't feel real having both of them on the team. But with that being said, I can see him making it this year. This team is very well rounded. They drafted the rookie Tez Walker. We have Roger Rosengarten to protect Lamar's right side, and especially since he was Michael Penix's blindside protector, I think that's going to help a ton. Ronnie Stanley, I expect him to have a really good bounce back season this year. We saw what he was doing in practice. We heard from him. He said he was feeling good. Coaches said he looked good. He was out there catching touchdowns. I don't know what that was about, but I think Ronnie Stanley's going to have a bounce back season. Now, whether Andrew Voorhees, Daniel Falele, Ben Cleveland, I don't know what they're going to do with the guard situation. I'm almost certain Andrew Voorhees is going to start at that left guard position, but right guard, that's still a question mark. Hopefully Tyler Linderbaum's good to go for week 1, but I think that the Ravens can really make it this far. I think they can make it to the Super Bowl, no doubt about it. This team, they're ready. Lamar Jackson, he looks better than ever. He lost a little bit of weight. He looks fast. Zay Flowers, I think he's going to have a really good season this year. Mark Andrews, always going to have a good season. Isaiah Likely, I hope they use him more. I think it's going to be a really good season this year. Now, with all that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching. Like I said in the beginning of the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that. I appreciate you guys tuning in to watch. See you.